Hi, it's Gadget UK here again. I'm sorry there haven't been that many videos uploaded recently. I've got a ton of footage that needs editing. I've just been really struggling with my health over the last month or so. I mean, Christmas is always a hard time for me anyway, actually. Certainly following Christmas last year. Yeah, my life has not been the same really since last Christmas for a number of reasons. But yeah, so I've been really struggling. I've got a load of stuff, like I say, I've got some Commodore stuff, I've got an Amiga, I've got a 64, a couple of VIC-20s, a Mega Drive, a PS1, a 4-slot, two F1 boards, Neo Geo F1 boards that I can't fix, which those are interesting, still going to be interesting to see. I've got a 2-slot, I've got Kraut Busters, I've got Wyvern Tales, I've got about 20 controller videos that need finish editing and stuff, and some to add to that. I've got the GameCube to revisit, I've got the Famicom adapter to revisit, I've got the following part of the Atari Lynx stuff, part 2 of that. I've got some Game Gear stuff to do. I've got a DS that needs a touch screen redoing on it, and I've probably got about 40 or 50 other videos, smaller ones, on top of that. Most of those I've done about 70% of the footage for. It's just super hard to find the energy and the motivation to do these. One of the things, I'll be honest, it's like I say, I've thought about quitting doing YouTube again recently, just because, not because I'm not getting the, well, it's a combination of things. I get lots of views, hardly anybody gives me any thumbs ups and stuff. The thumbs downs I don't care about, it really doesn't bother me. You're always going to get trolls, as I've mentioned a number of times. But then there's also a few other elements, a few other things that have been peeing me off recently. Things like there are certain channels that are ostracising me to a degree. The same thing happened with Miss Mad Lemon. And then exclude people who are direct competition. That is happening, trust me, that is happening. I have seen it, she's seen it, and there are a few of the channels noticing it as well. And then you've also got some of the channels as well taking techniques and things I show, things that have not been, I've not seen them anywhere else, and I watch a lot of repair channels and covering them on their own videos, and then no reference to where they picked it up from, like, you know. And fair enough, in some instances they may well have discovered some of these things themselves, but there are one or two things out there where you'll see something, you'll think, I've seen that before, exactly, done that exact same way. You know, and there's people, it's a competitive environment anyway, people are always trying to better each other. That's the nature of humanity, really. We're all trying to, improve on what we do, and it's a very competitive environment. But yeah, there's just a few underhand things like that going on, snide comments and things. I've had one or two people posting on my channel saying, great comment, such a person, knowing full well that I am not that person. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like trying to rub it in, trying to make out that that other channel is better than my channel and all that sort of stuff. And it's just like, it's really weak. But anyway, negativity aside, we're going to keep going for the moment. What I will say is, for the last 6 months, I would say, Patreon has been the only way this channel's been funded. I am not putting any more of my money, I cannot afford it actually, putting any more of my own money into this channel. I've spent far too much money over the years doing this stuff, and to a degree I've been buying things to show things rather than things that I really want. I've got loads of stuff I could sell effectively, but there's challenges in trying to sell stuff, like packaging it up, sending it out. Is it going to get there in one piece? Are you going to get some dodgy buyer who claims there's some issue with something when there absolutely isn't, and then you've got to get a refund and return it and pay for all the postage and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, the channel will not continue forever, but I am super grateful for the patrons that are supporting me, because that is just keeping things going for the moment. And at the end of the day, that is the only real thing that is keeping the channel going. If it wasn't for the fact that people are submitting a certain, $1 each month, which makes me think, oh no, I really need to push these videos out because I owe it to these patrons. That's what's keeping it going. I'll be honest. It's like, say, last week I wanted to ditch the channel completely. Because I've just got better things to do with my life. But whilst people are supporting via Patreon, at least, I guess I owe them something, and at least I've got the funds to do it. I've got no excuse really. It gives me a bit of motivation to think, okay, I've got to fulfil this task. You know, I've got some money each month here to buy some stuff in, to repair some stuff, and we'll start giving some stuff away. I've still got that blue C64 that we're going to give away. I'll probably give that away very soon, because I don't think we're ever going to get the keys. The C64 keycap campaign has gone on forever and ever and ever. I mean, if I give the C64 away in let's say this month, and the keys arrive in 6 months, they'll get forwarded on to whoever wins the thing, and it's going to be, I'm going to give it to Patreons, I think, and I'll do it in a fair way, because there've been a lot of Patreon supporters who've come and gone, and some of them have donated quite a bit over the year or so I've been running Patreon. So what I'll do is I'll just add up all of the entries so far, you know, how much submissions per dollar, and everybody, even if you're not currently a patron, you'll be included in the draw there. I'll perhaps give an emphasis to the people who are currently supporting via Patreon. That's perhaps a fairer way of doing it, because yeah, I just want to be fair at the end of the day. Anyway, all that waffle aside, yeah, so Starwing, Super Nintendo, this is already working cleaned up. I lost the footage for the start of this, but nevertheless, we'll take a look at this now. I have got the part where I cleaned it, which I'll show you in a sec, which is one of the first things you would think. You get a cart that doesn't work on a SNES or a Mega Drive or a Game Gear or Master System or Game Boy, whatever. The first thing you're going to want to do is clean up the edge of the PCB. So we've got a cotton bud with some IPA here, and we'll just clean over the contacts on each side. And you can see the black marks coming off that. It's not a lot. And then we'll give it a try. Yeah, I'm comfortable that's pretty clean now, actually. Let's just go over the dry end as well. Okay, let's try the card to see what it's doing. A minute ago I did get some music, but just a black screen. Yeah, nothing. Switch it off and on. Let's do the card again. You hear that? Music, but nothing else. Yeah, I'm going to take it apart. We'll have a look inside. So to get inside these, you need one of these game bit adapters. It's the smaller one. Is there a size? Yeah, it says there 3.8, and then I've got a larger one here. This is number 8 on it, I think. It's a different size. That's the next one up, as you can see. And then this one, which may be the same as that one. No, I think it's just one size bigger for getting inside a SNES or an N64 or a PC Engine, etc. So yeah, there are 3 different sizes there, but the smaller one is the one I need to get the screws out here. So the screws out, just move those out of the way. Yeah, this was what I was hoping it wasn't, is the you know, hot snot version, you know, these blobs of whatever it is, epoxy, you know, over the top of the little die. You know, they mount them with very, very, very small wires onto the PCB, and then put this over to secure them. So yeah, if you've got a problem with a connection or something here, you know, you're knackered. Although the cart edge, yeah, I don't know, it looks pretty clean to me actually, but it's got marks on the bottom. Can you see that? There's little marks there from wear. So we can clean that up. Ooh, what's that there? Ah, a leaked cap. I don't think that's going to cause the problem, but can you see? Can you see it's all gone, the solder points have gone all really dull, and you can see the leakage. Can you see it here? Yeah, that's leaked. So I'll remove that. What size is it? I don't know if I can read it from here. Anyway, I can replace that with just a through-hole electrolytic, I think. I might have an SMD one actually. If I've got one, I'll stick it on there. Otherwise, I'll just stick a through-hole one on there. Yeah, lots of other small caps and things on here as well, and a few resistors. But the solder points on those look okay as far as I can see. So yeah, I'll clean up the PCB. We'll swap out that cap, I think. I'll clean up the PCB first and test it, but then we'll swap out that cap. But beyond that, yeah, there isn't much hope for this, because, yeah, well, we can't do anything with it. But there are some marks on there that, with an eraser, should come off. I'm not convinced that that is actually the source of the problem. You know, the cap may be the issue. The big problem, can you just see here, it's like the different blocks. You've got RAM, Mario chip, which presumably is the Super FX chip, ROM, CIC. So you've got four, blobs there. If the RAM has failed, if that was any other car, it's just a typical car, you could just swap out the chip. You could do that, but I can't because there's no way of easily replacing that. So yeah, we'll get the eraser onto it next. I really could do with a new eraser, but I mean, hopefully you can see there, just from that little bit I've done, the little black marks that were there from the pads, the traces where the contacts and the SNES have made contact with those edges. Those are all gone, the marks are gone. That is the idea with this. It's the very lightest bit of abrasion that you could apply. You don't really remove the gold plating, which is what you're aiming for. If you use a fiberglass pen, you will remove the plating, as I've shown on other videos. Well, one other video when we tested out the theory on the King of Fighters on the Saturn. And the reason I did that is because I get lots of suggestions. If you've got suggestions for techniques, I will try them out. If they've got merit, if they sound like they're worth checking out, I'll check them out. Yeah, that was one that we proved is not worth, is not a good thing to do. Don't use fiberglass pens on these. Yeah, so they're looking super clean there now. We'll just clean up with some IPA. Need to make sure you get rid of any residue there, because you do get a bit, you get bits of it stuck on there and stuff in between the edges. So yeah, just thoroughly clean that down on both sides. Can you see it's like it goes blue? Yeah, so it looks like we've still got a black screen. I have tried this off camera a few times, taking the cart in and out. Oh, it must be the cap. It can't be anything else unless there's something else failed on the board. You can see where the electrolytes leak through here on this side as well. So yeah, I mean, we could have a wire corroded or something by that electrolyte, but I mean, it doesn't look like any corrosions took place other than on the pins on the actual cap. So there are a few different ways you can remove something like this. I'm just going to apply some fresh solder onto each side. Yeah, you can't see that side, sorry. Yeah, just a bit of solder. Yeah, I can feel and I can smell fishy electrolyte. It smells fishy when you heat it. And the solder does not flow. Can you see that? It's like a crusty, corroded surface, the top of the solder. And you can just heat like this, just lift one side then the other, get it off that way, or you can use hot air. In fact, let me show you both. Now, we're not making much progress like that. I'll show you with hot air. It's probably easier if you use hot air, but you could, just a bit of solder on one side, a bit of solder on the other, lift, side at a time. But if you do too quickly, too much, you'll break one of the pads off. So this is why I'm going to swap over to hot air, just to show you the other technique. That way you get the best of both worlds. There's a bit of solder on the can there, you can probably see. I'm not bothered about that. Anyway, it's 22 microfarad this cap, so it's a case of, heat both sides here, alternate between the two sides. Probably almost there now. I can see the solder moving on this side here where I'm heating it. It's just swap to the other side, and when we reach temperature, it should just come up. See that solder on the sides melted there as well. There we go, off. So I'll use a little bit of desolder braid here, just to remove that solder. The board is still very hot actually, which is to be expected, I guess. So it's time to cool down. And incidentally, you could use hot air to try and just heat the undersides of where these four ICs are. If you're really super lucky, you may look out and find that after heating for a period of time, it starts to work again. Now the electrolyte that's leaked out there absolutely stinks. I'm just going to add a bit of flux to assist, because the solder braid is not wicking. And the electrolyte that's there is adding to problems, I think. There we go, that's a bit better. So, yeah, can you see the black mess around there? That's not because I've used too much heat. What happens is the electrolyte burns up, and you just get this like black, tarry sort of yucky substance on the board. We may have to scratch the actual pads in a minute, but you can see how it comes off. It's like I say, it's just a combination of the flux and the electrolyte that burns up, leaving that black residue there. It's not too bad actually, that I don't think I need to scratch those. They're not too corroded. It was primarily just the electrolyte around that area. Now if we're lucky, you know, that might make a difference. I suspect it's not going to do. I suspect something's failed on here, and it could well have failed because the filtering's not been there. You know, if that cap's failed, and if you've not got decent caps on your SNES motherboard, that could just help finish something off. A little bit of noise or something there could finish off something on this board. So I've got some miniature through hole. I'll stick one of these on. It's marked there plus, can you see that on the board? So it should be easy to get that the right way around. It wants to go that way. So we'll just trim the legs off. And we can just put it in an approximate position there and just bend these down. Like that. And as I say, you know, if I had the right SMD component here, I would perhaps fit an SMD one, but we'll just get a blob soldered onto that pad. You can see that just pulled it itself into position. Actually, I didn't actually need to move that. But yeah, be very careful, because if you try moving it when the solder's not molten, you'll just break pads off, and that's not what we want to do. I'm just trying to position it so the leg up here is as flat as possible. That's it. There we go, and a bit more there. Yeah, large blobs of solder, but it's not the end of the world. It's, yeah, I could clean up with some IPA there now, but yeah, I'll give that a try. I don't think that's going to make any difference, but you never know. So we'll give that a try now. Oh yes, sweet. Hang on, what happened there then? Is that a controller problem? It seemed to go straight into the game there. It could be my controller here that's doing that. Let's just try that again. Oh, I've got a Japanese controller plugged into here. That might be the issue there. Yeah, I think that's the issue actually. We started without the controller plugged in, because if I remember rightly, there's some diodes or links or something there, aren't there? Yeah, that's working now. Let me see if I can find another controller. Yeah, I've got an awful PAL, well I say PAL, you know, an awful controller that works with the PAL machines here. And it's not skipping the intro there, so yeah, it's working fine I think. Now I already have this game on the Super Famicom, the Japanese version, but nevertheless it's nice to have, and this one's boxed actually, I'll show you the box in a minute. It's nice to have a boxed, complete version. It certainly runs better in 60Hz, that's for sure. This is a bit slow. So I cleaned up the shell with a bit of Maguire's Plastex. There was a few mucky marks and things. They've come off. You can see it looks good as new now. Yeah, it's interesting now. These vary from region. You know, this one's got like lines on the back. The other one I think doesn't. And it's got obviously, you know, the English label here is totally different. It's just I always find that interesting. And the other thing I find strange about these is you always get this little yellow line here on the edge. You know, the underneath. It's like the back plastic is made of a different plastic to the front plastic. One half of it yellows, one doesn't. So you know, you could remove these little yellow marks here with a bit of retro bright. It's weird how they yellow like this though. You know, they don't. It's not even. It's not like from a sunlight thing. You just get like this weird thing on the edge here. But anyway, yeah. So that's that. I've got the original card inlay here. A bit of tape at the top and bottom. There was a piece of really crusty sellotape at the top and bottom. I've replaced that, so at least the cart can sit in there now. Floats around a little bit. So you got the original, this like a foldable poster thing that came with it, I think, and the original manual here. Yeah, it's not too bad. It has seen better days. And the box, which has certainly seen better days, it's yeah, it's got one side missing. It's still got the end, the corner pieces here, you know, the little flaps. It's just got the main piece missing, but this side's all right, and it's not bad actually. It's in pretty good condition, that box. for the age. A bit like the Lynx, you know, the boxes don't really survive because the Atari Lynx, they ship those in cardboard boxes as well. Interesting mark there. I might just try and clean that off. Yeah, that mark wasn't coming off with soap and water, so I'm actually using a bit of Plastex, and you can see how brown that is there. It was all over here, and most of that's come off, and it's not affected the ink in the slightest actually. See if I can clean that G up a little bit better. Can you see that brown stuff was all over here? It's like some sticky, maybe remnants of sellotape or something, I don't know, but actually that has done the trick. You could also, with certain packaging, you can use IPA, but IPA, if you're not careful with paper and card and stuff, can seep into the surface there, and you can start to remove ink. But because this is kind of like got a glossy surface to it, you can see I've managed to remove that brown mark entirely actually, and all this here, which is a lot more visible than it was. We might be able to do the same thing down here. Can you see there's just a little bit of stuff around there? Let's just see if we can clean that up a little bit. It's just on the very edges. Yeah, there you go. That's looking a lot better. Marks pretty much come off that. So the other thing I thought I would show you is the SD2SNES now supports the Super FX games. So this is thanks to Red Guy, I think his name is. So you can see you've got Star Fox 1.2 there. Let's just click the red button A. And as you can see, that's working. Sweet. So I'm guessing, in theory, we should be able to play Star Fox 2, and I think Doom works and stuff as well, all the other games. The Super Mario one works as well. Is it Yoshi's Island? Yeah, I think there's a Yoshi's Island one. Sweet. Let's just try Star Fox 2. Yeah, that's working sweet. He's done a fantastic job. I think none of us thought we'd ever see the Super FX, supported by the SD2SNES here. And the other thing that Red Guy's done is give us SA-1 support, so Super Mario RPG should now work with the SD2SNES, and the other games that use the SA-1 as well. Fantastic. So the other thing you can do, if you get creases and things, you can try and iron these. Now I wouldn't just put an iron directly on it. Have a piece of, I use actually a piece of paper towel like that, just a single sheet, and make sure it's damp, and iron that. You can straighten out creases and kinks and things like that in printed materials. It's actually in not bad condition at the end of the day. I was surprised actually to see that it started working after we swapped out that cap. But the other thing that might have been the issue is the electrolyte. So not necessarily the cap having failed. Even if it had gone high ESR, I'm guessing that was a smoothing cap. It probably would have been. It would have been on the supply, across the VCC and ground connections to the chips on that board. So it's unlikely that even if it had gone high ESR, that it would be causing, the behaviour, unless it was acting as a really low value resistor. So I suspect it was the electrolyte more than anything. That little bit we cleaned off the underside there might have been part of the issue. But there was some around, I think I showed earlier in the video, there was some around the capacitor itself, across a couple of the via points and things there. And it, of course, will conduct. It's a bit like we saw when I looked at the action replay cart on the C64, and there was flux around all the ICs. And no matter what we did to that cart, it just would not boot at all. It just constantly would show a black screen, and as soon as I cleaned off the flux, bang, it sprang to life. So I suspect that was what was wrong with this. I suspect the electrolyte was causing the issue. But yeah, anyway, it came out really well. As you can see, the box came out super well here. the brown marks and things we had, you can still see a little bit of the remnants of it there, but it was like really dark brown. It was covering the logo and stuff, and it was the same here. There was some sellotape marks there that all came off. I could in theory print a piece of a replacement side for that. Yeah, I could perhaps scan that side and fit a replacement flap on that side, just cut that little bit off and tape it on. But yeah, I'm happy with it as it is. Anyway, hopefully you found that interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.